Hey, and welcome back to Infinity Coders channel. In this video, we'll provide a step-to-step guide to help you to set up and run Java code on your Windows machine. We'll show you how the initial setup, which includes the checking the Java version installed on your system, downloading and installing Java if needed, and setting up the necessary environment variables. This ensures that you have the correct Java version installed and ready to be used. After the setup, we move on to running the first Java code from a simple text editor like Notepad. For example, this is how the code will look. You will learn how to write a basic Hello World program, save it with a Java extension, compile it using a command prompt, and execute it to see the output. So at the end, you actually see the output in the terminal, which looks something like this. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's check the Java version before continuing to the environmental setup. So just open a command prompt from the Windows search, and then once the command prompt is open, please type in Java version. So this will actually show if you do have a Java version installed in your PC, it will actually show up. So in my case, I'm having a Java version which installed 17.07, and this is the environmental that is set up, and this is the 64-bit support that is actually set up. If you do not have a Java version, so here it will actually show that it's unknown and it's unable to find. So if you have unknown or you don't have a Java version not set up, so let's continue to the next step. Let's look into how to download and install Java version. First, open any web browser and key in Oracle Java. Once press enter, there will be a Java download link. Click on the Java download link. Under the Java JDK development kit, there are options JDK 20 and JDK 17 options. JDK 20 is the most latest release, and JDK I'm going with JDK 17. Depending on your PC operating system, download the installer needed. In my case, I'm using Windows. Click on the direct installer. In this case, it's X64 installer, and then click on it for the download to begin. Once the download has been completed, then we should actually go into the download page where the download is being saved. Then click on the download to begin the installation. So before we begin the installation for the pathway, first we have to go into the local disk, and under the program path, we have to check the Java folder have been created, or do we have a folder inside the program path. So here we can see there's a Java folder. Let's say if we don't have a Java folder, then we can right click and select the new folder and then rename it as Java. So when we run the installation, it will save into this particular folder. Inside it, you will have the entire development kit. So as we can look here, yeah, there's the entire development kit that has been installed. So once we have done the installation, next we will look into how do we set up the environmental variable. Next, to set up the Java environmental variable, we can either go from the control panel on your Windows, or we can just use the Windows search type edit. So there's two, you need to open up the edit the system environmental variable. To click on it, which will open up the system properties, and then there's the environmental variable. Click on it. So here, what you need to do, go under the system variable. First, we need to add the Java home. Since I already have the Java home, since I have the Android Studio created, so I already have the Java home added in, but hardware is a bit different because the JDK is actually inside the Android Studio /JRE. But you can also make the Java home refer to the installation file that you have downloaded before this. So it's under P program file, Java JDK 17. So you can also point to that particular one. So you can use the browse directory or browse file. So after you have added the Java home, we could also inside the path here. So we click on the edit. So you can see here, you can also add, click on new then just try to add Java home. So in this case, we have Java dash home, and then percentage, which means that you will take the part of the Java home and then you will go into the bin file and then we'll have the complete variable for the Java home. So this is another way to add the Java home into this particular part. So once you have done everything, then just click on OK. So in my case, you actually can see if I go into my user variable part, I did declare the Java variable 17/3. So that's the reason why it's able to do that. So once you have done all of this, then click on OK changes. So once you're done, just click OK and OK. So next, to verify this particular Java installation, you can actually go back to your CMD terminal. So if you do not really see any, it's not updated, one thing you can do is close your CMD terminal, open up a new command prompt. So once the command prompt is open, you can type back the version Java version. So if your environmental variable is set up correctly, you'll be able to see your Java version here. So that was the reason once you have opened your command prompt previously, close it and then reopen it back so you're able to reflect correctly after you have edit the system driver. So with this now we have successfully finished with the setup of the Java environmental variables. So now let's go into our how to write the first code in the node current text editor or from the notepad. To write the first Java code in notepad, so let's open the notepad and then any text editor of your choice. Then here we can see that so for any new beginner, the first thing you have to do is you have to create, you can do the coding that this case I'm creating a public class hello world. So the class is the major keyword when you're creating a particular new particular Java code. So first it's the outer layer, which is the class. And then you always need to have this void main. So void main is actually where your main master code, and from the main is where everything will be executed. So first is your outer class with your object. So this in this case this is your class, and then followed by the main. So when you try to execute from the command prompt later on, it will actually try to compile the class, and then it will try to execute your main. So all the tasks under the main will be executed. So in this case, we could see system out print is to print out on your command terminal. So in this case, I'm trying to give like a hello world kind of a string. So for strings or any kind of output you like to display, make sure you have this parenthesis, and then at the end you should also have the semicolon. So without the semicolon, if you try to compile, it will throw you an error. So this is common for most of the programming, except for Kotlin, Python. They don't have this. For C, C++, Java, this is like really a must. If you don't have this, then you have an error during the compilation phase. So similarly, I try to add an extra like this is my first Java program. I'm excited to learn Java. So this is like a very simple and basic when you try to create your own server. So when you actually create this and then you try to like save as or you try to save your file, you can always choose a lot of save types. So the one that you have to choose is a Java source file. So when you save it as a Java source file, in my case, I created a folder in my desktop called Java, and this is the file that we have saved in the Java source file. So once you have actually performed all of this save, now the next step is for you to compile and run the Java code from the command prompt. So I have a command prompt open here. So first thing you need to do is first you need to compile your particular class. So if you do refer to my previous video, introduction to Java, you will still know how from the moment that you actually created your own code, save it, and then you have to compile, and from the compiler, you will have a particular class that is created in a bytecode. And this particular bytecode is what later will be translated to what the machine will actually understand. This translated to a machine code. So in here, I'm going to go to the place that actually save my particular file. I'm saving inside here. So to run the first for you have to compile it. Your particular class have to be compiled. I'm using a Java world. Hello. So I'm creating a Java world, hello world. So now the compiler will actually compile and convert the class into your major bytecode. So now what will happen is if I try to run the particular program, Java after you have finished the compilation, so now it will try to execute through the JVM, it will try to execute it and then run the particular whatever you have actually inserted from the web main. So in this case, if I run Java hello world, you can see this is the output that is Java. Hello world, this is my first program. I'm expected to learn with Java. Yeah. So this is how you actually run. How do you create your own code in the Notepad? How do you save it through the Java extension? And how do you run it through the command prompt? So with this, we have reached the end of the video. We have learned how to set up Java and execute the Java programs and compile and run from the CMD terminal. For the upcoming videos, we will look into how to set up a famous IDE to run Java such as Eclipse and IntelliJ. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more programming tutorials. Happy coding and see you in the next video.